Welcome to Test Prep CA9, Part 1, Question 5. It says, in retaliation for their cousins being devoured, Pegasi have decided to deal with the ogres once and for all. They are taking these big, mean ogres to the amusement park and making them ride the rides all day long. And as everyone knows, ogres, being so mean and nasty, hate amusement park rides and all forms of fun things like cotton candy. Given the data in the table below, draw a scatter plot on the graph provided. Make certain to label the axes, title the graph, and plot the appropriate points. Awesome! So what we have to do in this is basically make our own little graph. So here's the data that we have to work with. It's here in this box. And what we need to do is we need to find out what we want to title it first. So I actually like this title, Ogre Screams from Being Forced to Ride Extremely Fun Amusement Park Rides. So you know what? I think I'm actually going to use this title as my title of the graph. So give me 1 second, I'll put that in. So now that we have a title, let's look at the title that would be good for our axes. Well, on the x-axis here, I think I'm going to choose to do the number of ogres, since the number of ogres seems to be the one that drives the graph. In other words, the number of ogres seems to be the input. The more ogres you have, that's going to be what changes the number of screams, not the other way around. You don't get the screams and then determine the number of ogres. In fact, the number of ogres determines the screams. So because that's the case, I like to make my x-axis be my input axis. So on that axis, I'm going to put number of ogres as my axis title. All right, well that's 2 titles down. Now we just need one more title, and that's going to be the title of the y-axis here. And what I want to do is I want to look at what is that? Well, that seems to be the number of screams according to my table there. So that's what I'm going to put there right now. Awesome. Now that we have all those titles, my next step is going to be to actually start putting in the values. So I'm going to go over here to number of ogres, 10. And it just works just like a coordinate plane, really. When the number of ogres is 10, which is my input, here, my output is 1.5 screams. So I'm just going to put that right here on the line. Now, that's not exactly perfect. It's hard to get perfect on this tablet, but you would want that to be exactly on the part where 10 and 1.5 intersect. Now I'm going to move on to 20. When the number of ogres is 20, the screams are 2.25. And 2.25 is actually going to be right in between 2 and 2.5. And as I've said before, let me try that again. As I've said before, what you want to do when you're trying to remember whether or not a decimal, like where that is exactly, it helps to think about money. If you have a $1 bill here, we know that $1 bills are worth one whole dollar, which is 1.0 or 1.00, right? But if you have a half dollar, if you were to have a half dollar, you would have 50 cents. Most of us know that, okay? If you were to have a quarter like you use every day, then you would have 0.25. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work with dimes and stuff like that. Although the dime is 10 cents and stuff, we don't think of the dime as being 1/10. So anyway, don't worry about it. It at least helps with the 1/4, the 1/2, and the $1. So that's a good way to just relate 50 cents to 1/2 and 25 cents to 1/4 if you ever get confused. All right. So anyway, back to this. For 20 ogres, the value was 2.25 screams. All right. For 30 ogres, the value was 3.0 screams. So I'm gonna put that right there. Oh, let me try that one more time. The value is 3.0 screams. There we go. All right, for 40 ogres, the value is 4.5. Once again, I know it's 4.5. Sorry, let me try that again. I'm putting 4.5, and the way I'm getting 4.5 is I'm looking here at where 4.5 goes all the way across to this point here. And then I'm placing, because that's where the 40 number of ogres and the 4.5 over here intersect. So that's why I'm putting the dot right here on that point. Okay? So anyway, let's keep going with my dots. I'm just going to fill in the rest, and then you can see how you did. And there you have it. That right there is the graph. It's asked us to, given the data in the table below, draw a scatter plot on the graph provided. We did that. Make certain to label the axes. We did that. Title the graph. We did that. And plot the appropriate points. Well, we've done all of that. It's always a good idea when you're finishing up a problem to make sure that you, in fact, answered the question that they asked. All right. Hope you're having a great time. Uh-oh. It's Larva Man. And Larva Man says, oh, look at you, Larva Guy. Don't be so dramatic. Anyway, guys, hope you're having a great time. I look forward to seeing you in the next test prep video. Talk to you soon.